he was using my nipple as a pacifier, and during that time my nipples were very... It's Yuntaku time with Akko and Tamo.
What does Yuntaku mean? It's an Okinawan word from the islands of Okinawa, which means chit-chat. We want to invite you to our kitchen table and include you in our chit-chat to explore new ways of thinking, to welcome different perspectives,
and we want to share ideas on how to love yourself, love your partner, and shower your children with love.
This is episode 30.
And the topic of the day is newborn essentials. And before we get started, please take a quick moment to subscribe to our show. Now let's get back to our recent happenings.
Yeah, for our recent happenings, our daughter, she is quite an energetic one, and she just bounces all over the place, right?
Oh yeah.
We've been kind of trying to figure out, okay, what can we do to help her process all that energy?
Yep.
And we've noticed that if she doesn't get out, that day is kind of a rough day for her, just because she has so much energy that she needs to release, and it just gets trapped, and it becomes a difficult day for the parents.
Yeah, all of us.
And so we figured out that having her go out and play in the park 2 times a day, one in the morning and one in the afternoon, helps her expend the energy that she has, right?
A lot. Like it's a night and day difference. Before we used to just do maybe once a day, but that is not enough.
Yeah, she actually needs 2 times a day. And with that, she listens a little more. She's in a lot better mood, right? She's happier. She's definitely happier.
Yeah. When she's just at the house and she's not able to go out, we can tell that she's more antsy.
Yeah, more frustrated.
Yeah, frustrated. She gets very frustrated easily. She gets upset easily, and she's very difficult to handle.
Yeah. And, since we've been taking her out to play at the park 2 times a day, it's made a really big difference for her. So making a big difference for her means happier parents.
Exactly. And so that's what we've been doing, and it's been working out. And yeah.
Great. Yeah, and something that we do, we now have our son, newborn. And so there are times that I would take my daughter out to go to the park, and mama gets to relax a little bit. Although with the newborn, it's not much relaxing, but, a little bit more. And sometimes mama takes her out.
Exactly.
So it's just, we kind of do the trade-off. Sometimes we go as a family, which is fun too. And so we're just mixing everything up, and then just making sure that the routine and the schedule of once in the morning and once in the afternoon, after her nap, she gets to get out.
Exactly. And then she gets mama and dada time.
Yeah, she does.
All right, so let's get back to our topic of the day. So newborn essentials. So we just wanted to just quickly go over our short list of newborn essentials. I mean, the list can go on, but we think that this is absolutely a must.
Right. And we'll talk about each one and make some comments on it. So we just had our second child. And so we're going through this for the second time.
Yes.
And so we have a better grasp of what's really needed and what's really not as important. So let's get started. What's the first one you have?
Yeah, so the first one is a sleeper gown. So these are kind of like onesies that are open at the bottom.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a dress, but like a really long dress that extends beyond the feet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then it has like those mitten sleeves, so you could protect the hands if need be, or cover the hands if need be.
So it doesn't scratch his or her face.
Exactly.
And then in terms of sleeper gowns, for us, with our daughter, we didn't know about sleeper gowns. We just found out. So probably on the late train, but for those who haven't heard about it, check it out, because it makes diaper changes much easier, doesn't it?
So much easier. I mean, especially at night. I mean, you're like half asleep. You don't want to like unbutton or zip or unzip and take out the legs. I mean, it's just so much easier. You just kind of push it up.
Right. You pull up the gown. You pull up the gown, and then it's really easy to change. And it's a better experience for your newborn too, because it's faster, right? And so your newborn doesn't have to deal with the parents snapping on the buttons or zipping and things like that. So it's easier. And so the sleeper gowns, we do recommend it. So check it out. It may work for you, it may not, but it's worth trying. Definitely worth trying.
Exactly. And as far as grooming, nail clippers, suction bulb, or the Nurse Frida. I mean, those two are probably the most important as far as grooming goes.
Yeah, and maybe you can share what Nose Frida is?
Yeah, Nose Frida is a suction contraption where the parent has one end and the other end goes into the newborn or baby's nose.
It's kind of like a tube.
Yeah, it's like a tube
with like a plastic kind of a shuttle that goes into the...
And the parent just pretty much sucks.
Yes, so the parent is using their lung power to suck the snot out of the baby's nose.
Yeah, exactly. So that's helpful. Or you can just use an old-fashioned bulb, whichever one you prefer.
Right.
And as far as bathing goes...
Yeah, of course, yeah, you want to have, very gentle soap and shampoo. So, the baby shampoo, the body wash too. And we like to use Pure C, which is a lot more natural.
Yeah, no parabens or no toxic agents for the baby.
Right. And all this will be linked on our website. So if you're interested, please come check it out.
Yeah.
And also on the podcast notes on your podcast player, it'll show. So you can just click on the link and head on over to our website. So yeah, again, baby shampoo, body wash. And then you want to go to the next one?
Yeah. So the next one is Burb cloth or, any towel, but something that could catch if the baby does throw up.
Yeah. And it does happen.
Exactly.
Not all babies are the same. And so maybe your baby doesn't at all, which is congratulations. In our case, our son, he's starting to throw up a little bit more often.
Yeah.
So,
and even when you're breastfeeding or bottle feeding, when they spill milk, you want to just have some type of cloth or burp cloth to catch it.
Right.
And clean it up.
And again, it can be a simple towel, just a hand towel or just a hand towel. And the reason we have burp cloths is because we can separate it from your hand towels versus specific use. So that's why we got burp cloths. And for me, I like the texture too.
Yeah, it's a lot softer and I agree. All right, so moving on. For those that are bottle feeding.
Yeah, and even for bottle feeding, for parents that want to breastfeed, hey, that's great. And even for us, we want to breastfeed as much as possible.
Exactly.
And in regards to breastfeeding and bottle feeding, people do have quite strong opinions. And for us, we prefer breastfeeding. And Akko's seen the lactation consultant how many times? I mean, with our first child, our daughter, I think you probably saw them like 5 times.
Oh, I think
maybe
way more than that.
Oh, yeah, was it?
Yeah, because I used to go every week, like twice a week, because I really wanted our daughter to really learn how to latch on correctly, but she just never took to my breast.
Yeah. And there were reasons for that because, she was born and she had to go to the NICU. So she was introduced to the bottle right after she was born.
Exactly, early on.
Right.
Yeah, so there's a lot of reasons why she took the bottle easily.
And so what we're trying to say is, hey, there's not a right or a wrong, and sometimes even if you wanted to breastfeed, there's times you just can't.
Yeah. And I was that person. I just had to let go of that idea of breastfeeding.
It has to be breastfeeding, right?
Yeah, that it had to be breastfeeding.
Right.
And I just had to let go of that idea. And it's okay. I mean, for those mothers that are having to go through the same thing that I went through, it's okay. I understand. We're all in this together. And as long as the baby's growing, that's really the most important thing that we should really all think about.
Yeah. And with our son, he is taken to the breast. And so what we're doing is we actually do maybe like 80% breast and 20% bottle, something like that?
Yeah. So maybe a bottle a day or every other day is what we're doing, just so that he learns how to take to the bottle.
Right. And one thing that I want to share as a dad is that when it's bottle time, I can participate in feeding the child. And it really is a bonding experience, especially when we had our daughter. I fed her a lot too. And I think that helped me bond with her quicker and deeper. And now that I'm starting to do so with our son, I'm starting to get, I'm starting to bond even more. And so I think it's a great thing. So it's never just one thing where, okay, you're not breastfeeding, that's bad. No, you got to do what is best for everyone in the situation. So what's best for you as a parent, mom, dad, and then your child.
Yes.
So yeah, in regards to bottles, we've tried quite a few different type of bottles, and we continue to go back to the Philips Avent bottles. Those are vented, and we really like it.
Yeah, and the nipple's designed so that the baby could open their mouth a lot wider, so that it kind of mimics a breast a lot more than other nipples that are much narrower.
And the nipples come in different flow rates, so make sure you get the newborn one, and then your child can grow with it.
Yeah, exactly. And, if your child doesn't take to that, then you can just try another nipple.
Right, yeah. We've tried something called the Nook.
Yeah.
And then we've also tried Dr. Brown's.
Yeah, we've tried a lot.
Yeah,
we tried a lot.
So many.
Yeah. And sometimes you can just be persistent too, and the baby kind of takes to it too.
Right.
So it all depends.
Right. Whatever works, again, in this case, whatever works for you and your child.
Exactly. So let's move on to the next one.
The next one is the pacifier. And the pacifier, again, this, people can have strong opinions. For us, especially Mama had very strong opinions against the pacifiers. I actually did too. But, with more research and just the situation, we used the pacifier for our daughter and it worked out.
Yeah, it worked out. And for our son, we were a little more easygoing, and we saw that he was using my nipple as a pacifier. And during that time, my nipples were very damaged, raw and cracked and bleeding from all that was happening because he wasn't latching on correctly at that time. And so you have to do what you have to do again. And it just wouldn't make sense for him to keep using my nipple as a pacifier and damaging my nipples more so, because it could have led to me not breastfeeding him anymore. So, there's always choices. And so we decided to use a pacifier, and it is working out perfectly. I'm still able to breastfeed him, and my nipples are recovering.
Yeah. And for our son, he doesn't really like the pacifier as much as our daughter, but, we use it as a tool. Again, try to use it as consciously as possible. We don't just give it to him anytime, but when he needs it, and of course, for Mama's healing. So that's how we use it.
Yeah, exactly.
And also one more point is we actually did a YouTube video, a review of the Bibs Pacifier. So please check that out if you're interested in pacifiers. Bibs uses a natural rubber latex opposed to silicone. And so, yeah, if you're interested in it, again, links all on the show notes and by going to our website.
Wonderful. All right, moving on. Next one is Swaddle blankets. So whatever you need to use for Swaddle blankets, you can just use a traditional blankets. You can use like those actual Velcro pre-designed swaddles. So there's various ones that you can use. There's ones that are kind of like weighted so that it feels like there's like a parent's hand on top of the baby's chest. That one's called, I think, Zen Swaddle. So there's a lot of swaddles out there, but something you probably want to get one so that baby still feels like it's in the womb, and so that it feels a little more comfortable when they are sleeping.
Right, exactly. And just with anything that we mentioned, you don't have to buy things. It's just, sometimes some products make things a lot easier for your life. And when it comes to Swaddle, Dada wasn't really that good at swaddling.
No, Mama wasn't either.
When we use the Zen Swaddle, it's just Velcro. So you put your child in and then Velcro it up, and then it's all good. And it's much faster. Well, at least in my case, it was much faster. And so there are products that also help.
Exactly. So yeah, and so let's move on to our last thing that is needed that we think is very essential, and that is the diaper pail.
Yeah, when it comes to diaper pails, this one Dada thinks is very, very important. The reason is, in the beginning, what we had was we had an open trash can that we would throw the diapers in. And as you can imagine, it really makes the room smell.
Oh,
and so we looked for a diaper pail. It's a sealed one called Ubbi. The one we use is Ubbi. Again, we created a review video on YouTube, so please check it out. Again, link in the show notes. But anyways, Ubbi is sealed, and it keeps all the smells in.
Yes.
And then when it's time to change it, you just open it up, take out the trash bag, and you dump it out. But that really helps contain
it's a life-saving
smells,
diaper pail. I mean, you don't smell the dirty diapers, because as you can imagine, it really smells after it's just in there for a while.
Yeah.
And
yeah, we've been using it for 2 years, and it's still going very strong.
Yeah.
One thing that I would recommend, especially if you have one or planning to get one, I sanitize it with alcohol once in a while.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that's a tip.
Absolutely. And yeah, this is probably one of the must as far as newborn essentials. I mean, you need some type of diaper pail that keeps that smell inside.
Right. And that makes it so that you don't have to always go outside to throw away your diaper, but you can throw it in the diaper pail, and until that gets full, you're good to go. Wow, especially with our second child, it's gone, I mean, we're filling that thing up real fast.
Yeah. And newborns our son pees a lot, and we have to constantly change. Well, every newborn's different, but he is a newborn that wants to be changed all the time.
Yeah, compared to our daughter, who's completely opposite. But, and also to our listeners, if you have any tips on maybe more eco-conscious diapers that really work well for you, please share with us. We would love to know more.
Yeah.
Because the ones we've been trying, it just hasn't been working that well. It doesn't absorb as well.
Yeah, exactly. And I know there's cloth diapers too.
Right.
But we were thinking if there's something else other than cloth diapers.
Right.
So yeah.
All right. So question of the day is, what are some of the newborn essentials that you would like to share with us? We'd love to hear from you. Please come say hi on our website by going to akkoandtamo.com. And please subscribe to our email newsletter to keep up to date with each new podcast.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Bye-bye.